All right, so let's talk some sci-fi for a bit, right? Some TV sci-fi. Um, I still regretting this. I didn't get around to watching season two of Raised by Wolves from
Okay.
HBO, because I thought we were getting a full 10 episodes like last time, but we get eight, right? So
Right. Right.
then no, right? And I really really enjoyed the first season. I had it up there as one of the best
Yeah.
shows of 2020. Just so thought provoking, but it just reminded me so much of dystopian sci-fi of the 70s, right? Like stuff
Yeah.
like Silent Running and what else? Soylent Green. Just stuff that this kind of showed the future in this really bleak way. And yeah, this is hands down one of the bleakest depictions of the future
Yeah.
I've ever seen. You know what I mean? But just having it as this Android version of the Adam and Eve basically, and
Right.
all that kind of stuff really clicked with me, right? It was
Yeah.
just so profound and thought provoking as well, too, right?
Logan's Run, right?
Logan's Run, that's it.
You know.
Logan's Run,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah. Even right down to just the some of the the visual aesthetic as well too. Like like the custom design of the leads, for example.
Yeah.
Very much like you're watching a 70s sci-fi flick,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
It
Yeah.
just totally worked, right? And then the last thing I'll say, that theme song by just whew, it's creepy, but it just it's gorgeous. I love it. It's so
Right.
beautiful, but in a dark, apocalyptic kind of way, right? So yeah, I really wanted to see the second season, especially with the way how this first season stopped off. But
Right.
I thought again that we were getting 10, but now you tell me that it wrapped up, right? So yeah, Ricardo, you saw it before me. Take it away. How did season two play out?
Uh Good. But I'm gonna say something, and you'll immediately understand what's the situation. It's kind of Westworld season two. Have that problem.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this an HBO thing, right?
Yes. I don't know what to say. Yeah.
Like a season will start off good, but then they say, all right, well, we need to be bigger and better, but we have to
Right.
make things more confusing now. So we're gonna add a lot of more things, and then you're
It
gonna come out
right.
of it like, what's
That's
going
kind of.
on?
I
Yeah.
was really really hard pressed. Like I was binging it in chunks, right? So I was like, okay, 2 episodes here, 2 episodes here, 2 episodes here, and then I watched the final episode yesterday. And I kind of forget. Like I was just thinking, and I remember like, oh shit, I had to talk about this too, right? And I messaged you, and I was like, I watching the final episode, and I was like thinking about. I just trying to think about the season. I'm like, yeah, what happened exactly? Um, but all right, so to explain just a bill from it, right? Basically, they so you see the flip side of the argument, right? What happened is that they know, um, well, remember they passed through the mouth from the bottom, and now
Hmm.
mother, father, and the children they survive, but now they join a new atheist collective, and then Marcus, well, he also lives. Remember, he lived from last time. He
Yes.
basically goes out to find out a new, like he finds a new church, an ancient church with a bunch of souls, well, Sol worshippers. Because remember, they worship Sol, like well, Sun apparently, or whatever it is, right? Or the god that they call Sol. Um, and what they do is they find this new it called the collective, where this super advanced AI thing running the situation, and getting them to talk about what mother has been doing. Because remember the whole thing with mother is that she's not supposed to get pregnant, but she could get pregnant now, and it's a whole thing with that, right? Um, and then that's where it kind of goes. All right, is like where they have to fight. Listen, a giant snake in space is a thing in this, and that's not a spoiler. By the way.
Okay.
It get
Okay.
weird. They introduce well, right? So they introduce the main to just to pull it from thing. Father finds someone and rebuilds it, a new android. This new android, but you find out that where you think it, and that he gives it roughly the same powers that mother has. Remember, mother is a super weapon effectively,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
that's so it has roughly a similar power set, and they
Hmm.
build from there with what it is this new creature, this new android has. But then you find out that it's the new android is not really a new android. It's already, well, it's connected to an older android, and you find out. Well, so I don't know if this is a spoiler. I'll probably not say, but there's a character called Grandmother, right? That's where
But of course.
but of course, and you find out who what she's about, and she pulling you she on strings and involving mother, father, and a lot of the humans going forward. Yeah, that's it. that's to just run through it. I was underwhelmed, mostly because of how rigmarole everything felt. It felt rigmarole. I couldn't get into any of it. It has some good character beats. The final shot in this is really cool. Like what it do with the final shot in this, because it's like, oh wait, that possible? You didn't think that was possible, and it is. Like that is all you'll know. It's still good. Like it's still solid science fiction, but a little too convoluted. But this is like God Emperor Dune, right? It's that, right? It's just a little too convoluted, a little too much, but still good. Still pretty good. And I think you still will enjoy it if you could, but you had to have the patience to sit down and work with it for what it was. Because I'll admit, if I had to binge all of this in one, I probably wouldn't have done it. It's only because I was eating it piecemeal now and getting through it. I was enjoying it. It's like, oh yeah, I watched the first episode, I watched the second episode, I paced through it. But to binge this, right, I couldn't see myself saying to binge this. It's a little too probably, and we kind of weird in that way. So that's about it. Rating. So the first, I forget what I give the first season's rating. That was like really high, like 8 out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, about an 8 or a 9, I think it was.
This, I had to give it D6, sorry, because it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's clunky, very clunky, and a little, not slow necessarily, but just very rigorous, because they had to do all this thing, and you're trying to follow this, and well, they do something with Campion's character that I can't say I truly hate, but I really didn't care for it, to be honest. And he was a cool character in the first one, like what he was about the first one's great, but they make it work. But yeah, as usual, actors are pretty good, father and mother great. Just playing these robots who don't know, the Mr. Data kind of cluelessness about them still is there. Grandmother is great. Like I really like her arc and what she's going about. But I'll say they could have done. I felt she could have probably been revealed a little earlier, but she's still pretty cool for what it was. Marcus is pretty good, but again, his stuff felt the slowest in my opinion. But when they reveal what was going on with him at the end, that was pretty cool. But because it's still so mysterious and we still don't know what's going on, it wasn't that interested. And then it just get real weird I don't say for weirdness sake, it have a purpose, but it still was a little too weird for my liking. But I still enjoyed it. Like I still dug it. It's solid sci-fi. Yeah, rating, I'll still give it the 6, mostly because of how rigmarole and the pacing is kind of bad for the season, but still good for the most part. And it look, I might come around on it if I think about it a little more, but you had to get me on the first try now. But it's still good. I enjoy it.
All right, I got you, right?
Yeah.
So lastly, we will talk about Star Trek Discovery, right? So I will so you will just do a brief synopsis on this, right? I will come in right after you do the synopsis and just share my overall thoughts, and then you could just close things off with your thoughts, and you could get a little spoiler, right? But in my case, I just want to hear what the tricky will thinks about the season here, right? Because I would say, well, just before I get to my thoughts, this is actually a little, I should say, quite different compared to what we got with the last few seasons. But I will make the argument that it was leading up to it, basically, from that previous season, from season 3, right? But yeah, Ricardo, take it away in a nutshell. What was season 4 about?
Right. So basically, the entire season is governed by this event, this phenomena, some massive structure coming through the galaxy and destroying systems and planets, and it destroys Book's home planet of Quajon, and it's something they've deemed called the DME. Basically, they just call it dark matter anomaly, and it's just this huge structure that just pulling, mashing up systems and causing a bunch of problems throughout the galaxy, and it just randomly popping in and out, and we're not sure, and they can keep track of it and make sense of it. And Discovery now is tasked to either sort it out or making sense of it. Meanwhile, because Book is in grief because his plant was destroyed, he teams up with this mysterious but very brilliant scientist called Taka, played by what's his name? By this fellow, he was in The Expanse. He was the asshole in The Expanse. So he played an asshole.
Oh, Sean Doyle. I'll look at it.
Sure, right, yeah, Sean Doyle, right. He was the asshole in The Expanse. He's an asshole in this too, a little bit. Well, they resolved that later. Not so much of an asshole, but yeah. He has a method to destroy the DME. So there's a way to get to the power source and destroy it, but here's the problem. Discovery and the Federation kind of worked out that, hey, it's possible that this thing is not, they could be like, if they're this powerful to do this, then striking back at it could cause more problems for us in the long run. So they had to stop Taka and Book. That was the finale, the mid-season finale for it. And then the second half of it just sorts out the DME, and they actually meet the aliens who they call Species Tensi. And they resolve all of that, and that's about it.
Right. Well, I will just share
sure.
my thoughts on it first, right? Because all right. So I'm speaking as a Trekkie in training, right? Well, I want to call myself that, right? Because I would say, just because of how much I thoroughly enjoyed the third season, it
Right.
really made me, seek out the original series, which I'm actually watching right now. I'm halfway into season
Right.
two right now. Just taking my free time. Not
Yeah.
gonna power through all the shows now. I mean, I have years to do so, right? I
Right.
mean, there's years this franchise has been going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it took a new Star Trek show for me to really, really, really appreciate the old series, right? And
Right.
that's how I want to kind of start from the bottom up, right? That's how much I enjoyed season three so much, right? But here with this one now, what I would say, just again speaking as a Trekkie in training, this feels like it's more harkening back to
I
what
agree.
makes the Star Trek series stand out so much, right?
Right.
It's heartfelt, it's very humanistic as well, too.
Yeah.
Like I would say the most humanistic season we've gotten so far, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just characters and side characters, a lot of characterization. And the characters themselves just get so much attention put on themselves. Just a lot of development, a lot of screen time and whatnot. I would say out of with these 13 episodes, at least um, with each one, at least one character gets their own arc, gets their own story arc, their one moment and whatnot, right?
Right.
And in true Discovery fashion, we see where that goes, right? You see where everybody is at, especially with our, well, the main crew of, the Discovery basically, being finding themselves in the future basically, and the Federation being coming back to being restored and all that kind of stuff now. So everybody's kind of just dealing with it in their own way, right? I just love how they just kind of how they just explored everybody and how they dealt with it, right? Case in point, McGill, Sylvia Tilly, right, played by Mary Wiseman, right? What they did with her, I thought was great.
Right.
Hugh, like what they did with him in particular, right? With him not just being the surgeon, but him having
Like
to kind
counselor.
of
Yeah.
just make sure being a
Yeah.
counselor. I
Yeah.
thought that worked as well too. You saw how that affect his relationship with Paul, right? Not
Yeah.
in a bad way, but it's all right. My boy Saru,
Right.
him,
With the
in where he was at his home planet and now back, and there's a nice little subplot involving him and as a Vulcan, right?
Yeah,
Well, I forgot the name of the
had it
planet she's from.
The Vulcan president. Well, the Navarre president.
Yeah, right, the Madam President of there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a nice little thing with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even the relationship between Michael and my boy Buck.
Yeah.
I love that. Like a dog, just basically where they took characters and just exploring them even further. Even Adira, right? Who, by the way,
Right.
performance wise, I mean, they still kills it as well.
Right.
And his relationship their relationship, with Gray, right? Like
Right.
all that I was really digging as well too.
Yeah.
Even Zora, like the
Right.
AI, like
Yeah.
she gets character
Them
development
guy-
as well
the
too.
guy
You know what I mean?
shot, yeah, they got
What?
about yeah.
Yeah. Like I was digging all that, right? What I would say though for like I think this will be the gripe for people who probably just saw the first couple seasons and think, oh, it's like the J.J. Abrams films, but it's like the old films, so you kind of smash me too, right? This does not have a lot of action in it, right? I'm
Right.
not saying that this is a gripe. This is just like an observation. There's not that much action in it as well. I would say just little action in it. Like there's still thrills and there's still like, okay, what's gonna happen next and all that now. But there's little action compared to what we saw before, right? I know for some viewers that might be a turn off, especially for those who kind of just love the J.J. Abrams films because of how action filled they were, right? But I kind of appreciate that fact. Like there were times where I was like, all right, this scene kind of needs a little action here. Like we need a little action sequence and whatnot, right? But again, like I'm not saying like this is what the franchise needs, right? But it just this show itself, right? But I like the fact that hey, the show is saying, hey, here's what, right? We kind of going back old school here. Like it's still, the glossy, clean looking Star Trek oops that we're seeing here, right? But we going back to like even though I've only seen a few episodes, I felt like I was watching the Next Generation. I felt like I was watching a little bit of Deep Space Nine. It didn't feel like the original series, of course, right? It wasn't like campy and all that, right? But it felt like I was watching, Deep Space Nine and
Yeah. There's one
Next
episode.
Generation. It has that feel to it.
Yeah, there's one episode that just straight up felt like a Deep Space Nine episode. That is the one where they went to the bar. Yeah, where
Oh, Okay,
with
okay, that
with not Quark and not Odo in it. But that's a solid episode too. I remember having
right.
a lot of fun with that.
And by
And
the way,
it had a
the guy there, the hustler guy, he was just spitting all these quotes like, oh, like I'm
yeah,
like a this and a that, like a banter and that. I'm like,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right, that's for the fans, like these
right.
deep cuts, like
Yeah.
I don't know the references, but I know that's
I
for
just
the
call the
for
character.
the
I forget the character's name, but I just call him not Quark because he basically like acting like Quark.
oh yeah, because the
Yeah,
face
he's not Quark.
looks like him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
It
not.
does, right?
He's not a Ferengi or anything like that. But he's not. He's like he best as well be like whatever.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I do understand. Yeah, yeah. When they carried Book's character, I thought was really great as
Yes.
well, especially like what happened with his home planet and whatnot, right?
Right.
But if I do have a just a nitpick, right? I can't say it's a major nitpick, but it's a nitpick for me, right? I felt that they stretched out that DMA thing quite a lot. Now to
Right.
be fair, guys, like I understand that this is the central, that this is the true line, right? This DMA thing, trying to identify what it is, trying to communicate with this. And by the way, points for them using emotions to talk to them. I thought that was really cool, very close encounters. Like this is one thing I love about like Star Trek, like just how they just take these really profound and just intriguing science ideas, not science fiction, but just science ideas, and explores it now. So there's the idea that I could communicate with a race through emotions, but we're using what is it called?
It's arrival vibes. They will do arrival.
Yeah, I was picking up on Real Arrivals vibes, especially with the last few episodes where they were trying to maintain first contact. I was really getting that, right? But yeah, like I understand that DMA stuff is the central, like true line, right? But I felt like there was just numerous moments like where, the DMA is here and we're gonna get, and then it's not there anymore, but here's it over there and we're gonna investigate it.
Yep.
But then something happens. Oh wait, okay, now it's gone, and it just felt like it was just this cat and mouse thing. It's there, then it's gone, then it's there, then it's gone, then it's there, and it's gone, and there it's gone, right? And it felt almost at points like it was just stretching out the actual season.
Yep.
But in the show's defense, however, no, that's why I like that they have these side stories involving the side characters themselves. So in relation to the threat of the DMA, you see how other characters are related to it. You see characters have their own little high moments and little, adventures and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I felt like this show was like just like this season was radically different from what we saw before, right? So, inclusive in my opinion, though, I know for people who kind of go into Discovery expecting this thing to be like flashy and action packed. By the way, speaking of flashy, this is still one of the best looking shows you will see on TV right now. Like, I was just glad to I was binging it all over like a few days, right? And there was moments I just had to watch on my monitors, like, God damn, I swear, like, like, it's like you're legit watching a movie, shit. Like, I'm talking about production design, the visuals, the visual themselves. Oh my God, the visuals, but yeah, this is still one of the best looking TV shows out there, man. And this one, just kept that momentum going, right? But the decision to make it more humanistic, make it more character and emotionally driven story. Yeah, I thought that was like a really bold call in terms of this series here thus far, but I could tell that they really harkening back to the older shows as well. And yeah, like I really appreciate that. Because that was one thing that I really loved about the third season, that you felt like it was, more or less returning to form. Like, okay, like we're going back to why people love this show so much, why love this franchise so much. Yeah, just these individuals who have these opportunistic optimistic people, and here's a serious threat, but let's come together and figure this out. It's simple, but it works. And I love also to inclusion that it doesn't feel ham-fisted, it doesn't feel forced at all. It feels like legit. Yeah, in the future, this is how characters would relate, right? And even when it comes to just simple interactions and just what characters' desires are, like case in point, Gray, him wanting to have a sentient body, like stuff like that.
Something they follow up from Picard. So,
right. Okay.
Picard. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
same goal on body thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I had a mind so because they mentioned some scientists that created. I was like, okay, I wonder if that's from Picard or from a previous Star Wars. Sorry, I keep saying Star Wars. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Star Trek series, right? But yeah. Just what they did here, I thought worked, man. I can't say that this is my favorite season thus far, though. But as far as this is us kind of returning to form here, and this is us kind of, paying tribute to, this capturing the essence of what this franchise is about. Yeah. I can't be mad at this, man. So rating wise, I'm gonna give this a lighter decent 4 to 5, man. This they knocked it out of the park yet again, man. I know we're gonna get a 5th season here. I'm not sure what the conceit is be, but
Well,
for me, I hope that we get a little more, actiony stuff as well too. But not too much for people to be like, okay, we going back to GG stuff, though. But it's clear that they've gone past that though. But still, I just want the momentum of the show to keep going, man. And for me as a novice, yeah, keep it up, man. I can't wait to see what they do next, man.
Yeah.
So Ricardo, you can tell me how right and wrong I am, and specifically what the Trekkie verse, thinks about this season now.
Yeah. No, I think you're largely mostly correct about all we were saying. Just my takes on it. This is my personal favorite season out of the entire bunch.
Okay. Mine is still the third one, but
right.
Fine, fair enough.
Yeah, this one, right. Well, my problem with the third one, I find the payoff was pretty weak for what the event was. Like, I didn't like the payoff. Like, when they were explaining what it was. This, on the other hand, was the opposite. So I was very skeptical about this when this season started. Because, like, another Apocalypse of the Year plotline. Okay.
Yeah, and you were talking about mystery box bullshit.
Another mystery box, right. I was, like, real hating on it. But when they ultimately pay it off, right, when we get to find out what the Tensi is and what they're about, it's like, oh, yeah, that's great. And they pay it off. And I was, like, enjoying what they did there. I'll say I was enjoying the season, like, kind of enjoying it back and forth, normal about it, until they left the Milky Way, right? And then when they did that, that's when it really stepped up for me. Those last few episodes were excellent. Like, just straight up, just good. Just good for me. Like, they had the whole, when we started discovering the 10C, what they're about, and they get into a bunch of language things, like, oh, right,
yes,
basically
I
becomes,
love that,
yeah, this become the arrival stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, ultimately, this became really solid, from it went from okay to good. And I just enjoyed that. Well, since the Tennessee had a solid payoff, they had the language barrier. They mentioned like little stuff like little nerdy stuff like Linkos, if you know what that is, language cosmica, or Meti, these things that actually exist right now. Ultimately, they paid off with Book. That was pretty good, like what they did with Book. Because when they started talking about the chemical things, I like, oh yeah, right, Book is a space druid, right? So
right.
They're gonna
just one quick thing about Book though. That finale though, when they did what they did, like I had a mind who was gonna do it, but when they did what they did, I was like, this is like space magic to me. It's space magic.
Right, exactly. he's a basically is a well, that's the thing, and they're so advanced they could do what they want, but he's a space druid. Like the whole point is that he could connect with stuff on a nature level. So when they start talking about chemical and stuff, like they talk about stuff on the chemical level, he would connect with them, and that's what they did at the end. And it's like, yeah, makes sense. I felt they could have punched up Taka a little bit. Like Taka was ultimately not that interesting of a villain, but he served his purpose, and his motivation was fine enough. He could still be alive, but unlikely.
I doubt it though, but all we know, right?
Yeah. But what they did ultimately with that was this. And then well, the funny thing is, what they make work is the funny thing is the cameo at the end, right? Who's the president of Earth? That just crack everybody up. That everybody melt dog with that one. It's like, yeah, it would. Everybody make the joke that they're actually in the Abrams universe. Nice joke, right? Great joke.
Okay.
Right. I enjoyed the season a lot. Again, I try not to engage in gatekeeping, but it did feel the most Trek-like. Like when they promised with Discovery is it do too much linear storytelling, and then it catered too much GG aesthetic. GG aesthetic serve a purpose, but you could stop that, and they refused to stop that. And literally, we had 4 Apocalypse of the Year plots in a row. This one is the one that actually had a good payoff, in my opinion, right? Ultimately, and all the others was just like, oh, it's just an action movie, and like it's up to you if you want to enjoy that or not. And I enjoyed for what it was. Like, it's fine, but it needed to do more. And this one, yeah, we basically get like a kind of updated version of like Star Trek 4, or maybe even like the motion picture. It felt like that. Like, it's just giant thing, very advanced. They can't really talk to it, but they had to figure out how to talk to it. And then it ended up sorting out the problems, and then dies it. And then that's pretty much what we get. It's a little bit of Darmok, a little bit of Star Trek 4, a little bit of Star Trek 1. Yeah, they hodgepodge it in their own story, and they make it work for what it is. Another big thing is Michael Burnham herself. It doesn't feel like the Michael Burnham show anymore.
True.
That was never a big problem for me personally, but this time it is something that was noticeable, and it's like they make it work for what it was. It's fine, and she actually works as captain. I actually enjoyed her as captain. The character
you could just answer my one question though. This is just another this is a minor nitpick, right? So I remember like in the third season, both she and Book were thing there. So I don't know if it's because she has to maintain this sort of role and whatnot when she in Discovery and whatnot. But like there's numerous moments with them together, like all they kissing her. Like all they just like all they love each other, all they say all they love each other, kissing her. Like even in the final episode, like kissing her. It's like nope,
well, we see them.
hug,
I mean, we see them. We see them kiss earlier. We see them kiss earlier. They establish it enough. Like whatever. I don't know what was the big deal, but yeah,
like establish the love that they have there. It's a minor nitpick. I don't know.
Okay, well, I didn't think about it. Whatever.
Like I love you, hug.
Right.
But yeah, what?
Yeah, no, right. So yeah, that's what they did with it. Burnham mostly works as captain. I thought it was fine. I had little issues with it. As I said, the character that I liked the most was the president. I forget her name. The president of the Federation. She was great.
At first I thought that she was kind of untrustworthy because of how she just keeps zeroing in on Michael a lot. Like, okay, I would have like early on I would have wanted you to join this, but not yet. I was a little unsure of what her motivation was.
No, I was seriously worried that they was gonna do some like, she's secretly evil, bullshit. No. I really was worried about that, like a real worry. But like, nah, they make it work for what it was. Like, oh no, she actually fine. She is what she is. She actually comes across as great in the ending. Leah Rylak, that's the character.
Right.
She's great in the ending. I really thought that she was going to be it's a conspiracy theory with the Federation or some nonsense, because the character is supposed to be human mixed with human Bajoran and Cardassian all in one. So everybody was like, that what going on there now? And she have part Cardassian in her, so everybody was like worried about that. But like, it's fine. They made it. What she ultimately did was they made work in the ending. They kind of teased a couple things like possibly we're gonna get the Star Trek Academy show from this maybe. Because of
you mean with Tilly, right?
Tilly, right. That's a possibility. We're not sure. Adira is a character I don't feel works on Discovery all that well, but that character they would work well on a student show, like if they go back to the academy and finish it off or sort out that. As far as I know, they didn't go through the academy. They just got a sorted ensign role, but it was like kind of like the Wesley Crusher thing, though. Whatever. Solid season, for the most part. I enjoyed it. And yeah, this is the big news is the first Star Trek getting a season 5 in a long time, because Enterprise got cancelled in season 4. That was like really shocking for its time. But they're making it work for what it is. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed for it was I didn't find myself like struggling through it or wait, this is a real mess. Or like I still defend early Discovery, but it really needed a better through line and they need to restructure things better to make it work. So a lot of that didn't work. And like I admitted, a lot of the bullshit was the culture war. Like it was a culture war nonsense that like get people up in arms over it. For or against, and that's the type of people who shouldn't be defending it was defending it because of the culture war stuff and where's real Star Trek and gatekeeping and such a rubbish. We sort out all of that by now. Nobody care. Trump out of office. Moving on. So that's about it. I enjoyed it. Rating 8 out of 10, probably closer to 7 to be honest. I felt, but I really want to see them. Here's the thing with Discovery. Please discover something, like have it blow open the universe.
It's
like,
in the title.
I was so happy that they left the Milky Way. I was like, yes, finally, leave the goddamn Milky Way, please. You have literally a plot device that can carry anywhere. Like, go to Andromeda, go to the other galaxy, go to the Lanakia super cluster, do some shit like that now. I want to see them do something real weird. And Star Trek series tend to end off at 7. They tend to. On average, I don't know if Discovery will go past that. I doubt it will. But 5, 6, 7, you have 3 more seasons, and you could get real weird with it. Go weird with it. The Tensi was a nice promise. Tensi was a good weird advanced race. I love them. Right, do something wild with it. Like do some stuff. Anyway, rating 8 out of 10. Dug it. I like it.
All right, nice. That's great to hear, man.